Okay. So, where would you guys like to go?
Broker.
Okay.
Broker first.
All right. So, Siren takes you to Studio Sunfly, where he says that's where Rev Fortune Fonta tends to do all of his business out of. He doesn't have his own shop. He runs it out of this particular club. As he guides you through the twisted halls, in which at one point you all have to go on your hands and knees and go through a very, very small, tight hallway to connect from one passage to another, Siren takes the time to chat with you about some of the major groups around here, around Outcast Station. Something to kind of keep an eye on, right? Since you have him on retainer, he gives you these little tidbits of information. He says that there are a ton of groups and gangs and factions that run around Outcast, but he gives you the highlights of the main four. All right. The first is the Solar Rogues. Right. They're pretty much the head honchos of the station. He explains that they're strong enough to actually negotiate major trade deals for the station. They're the ones who establish all the docking fees for ships, and they're the best ones at resolving their own disputes. They also control the hydroponic farm, and their leader is a fellow named Walter Fireheart. Now, the Solar Rogues, some of them dress in reds and orange and yellows, but most of them just go by reputation. And falsely saying that you represent a Solar Rogue comes with a pretty strong consequence, he says. Another group is the Men of Limbo. Word on the station says that they're kind of the up-and-comers. They're the ones that control the hospital, and they got a few manufacturing facilities under their banner. You can tell them apart from anyone because they wear a patchwork little uniform of synthetic fibers, patches of gray and black and white. In that description, you recognize that as the people who spaced that fellow when you first arrived at Outcast Station. Siren says there's also the Needle Band. They do a lot of the drug trade around here. And their call sign is pretty simple. They have a syringe needle displayed somewhere on the body. Some of them hanging around their necks or from a chain along on their hip, wherever, right? And finally, there's the Copper Rat Company. They fancy themselves a bit of a business, but they mostly deal with, well, robbery. They're real simple to identify, too. They have these little copper or bronze badges, outline of a rat, and they wear it on either like on their chest or on the little collars of their outfits, typically. He explains this to you as you head over to Studio Sunfly. As a direct contrast to the club that you were recently out of, the Studio Sunfly is in a little bit closer towards the port of the main port of Outcast Station, and a wide and one of the more cleaner and less vagrant-free areas of Outcast Station. It itself has a few bouncers as well in the front, some pretty surly-looking men and women. However, for them, they, instead of asking for credits up front, they have a few questions for you. Take a look at you all carefully, and you can notice that one of them is really staring at Al's ears. And they say, where are you guys from? Huh? Freebooters, independents, you from Freedom Station? They ask you in a polite but forward way.
Go
ahead.
I believe. I'm saying this out of character.
Oh, okay.
I believe that we should probably be freebooters.
I agree.
That seems to be the.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would say We're freebooters.
Ah, wonderful. First time here to Club Sunfly?
First time.
Sorry. Well, come on in. We've got some good drink specials right now, some pretty good grub as well. But have a good time. And they let you in. Into a bright orange and yellow kaleidoscope. A huge circular room in almost a perfect spherical shape. And in the center of this room is this glowing orb, right? A sphere that actually emits most of this orange and yellow light. And around the orb appears to be a bar in which many people are tending bar. Around the edges of this round room is a series of booths, and Siren, kind of sheepishly and friendly, points you to around the direction of a side booth that has a very good vantage of the entire club itself. And you can see a portly gentleman with a large brown beard with a few streaks of gray in it, and he's wearing what appears to be a pair of tinted goggles. Points over to that gentleman and goes, "Oh, that's Fortune right there. I'll wait around here till you get things figured out. Maybe I'll wet my beak, so to speak." And he scratches his very, very long nose. But I'll be around here whenever you're ready, whenever I can guide you to the next place.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we would go over there and say...
Introduce ourselves.
Yeah. We were wondering if we could have a moment of your time.
Yeah. You just a second. Sorry, what's that? And you see him. He's plugging his left ear, and he's talking to something, and you can notice that on the collar of his brown polymer shirt, there seems to be a small black bud that maybe you're assuming is some sort of microphone. He's clearly talking to someone else, and he's kind of waving at you for a second. Yeah, no, I said 50, not 15. 50. Jesus, update your fucking comms, dude. That's a lot of ice to make a mistake of. Yeah, I know you're sorry. Yeah, I don't care. Just fix it. Yes, fucking now. Jeez. And he looks over to you, and you see him rolling his eyes. And he goes, "Yeah, okay, fine." And he plugs up, and his annoyed look soon shifts to a big grin, and you can see one of his teeth is capped in a very, very bright metally sheen. It's not quite a gold tooth, but it's capped by some sort of metal on it. Goes, "Hello, fellas. How can I help you? Come on, sit down. Don't worry, I don't bite."
Al would sit down and cross his...
Settle yourself in. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, across his fingers and say, clasp his hands and say, "We've been told that you are a rather reputable broker."
That's one way of putting it. Another way of putting it is that I'm the best goddamn broker on this cesspool of a station, except for, certain areas. And he gestures around to the relatively posh and clean studio. By the way, just to set a little bit more of the atmosphere, there's probably about 40 other individuals, and most of the people here seem to be human with a few mutant animals, and a lot of them are free of any sort of mutation that you've been seeing around. Most of them seem to be relatively well groomed and well equipped. Everyone has at least some sort of weapon on their side or on their back, although it doesn't look like anyone's really willing to use them. So before, what was I going to say? So now I'm done setting that particular scene. He says, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I can get you set up for sure. We can open up an account. How's that sound?"
Well, I do hope you can ease some of my fears first, or my
Sure.
We're new. Obviously, we're freebooters here, and it's no secret that Outcast Station has a reputation. Well, sometimes well-deserved, perhaps. We're concerned by our money, of course, and we think that a broker is the safest way to put it. But while I've heard that you're, well, as you said, one of the best,
best.
It's only
He
been.
corrects.
Al nods, of course. It's only been hearsay. Why? How can we be sure that our funds are safe?
He gives a smug smile and he says, because unlike all the other 2-bit brokers and ice dealers in this place, I don't keep the bulk of my inventory on Outcast Station. I got my own outfit floating around the orbits. Independent storage house, I guess you could say. That's where I keep all my ice, and that's where all of my, capital lies. So it takes a lot, it's a lot harder to rob that compared to just robbing, say, me or someplace where I'm going to store some ice here on this station.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you associated with one of the groups here on the station?
No, I run my own outfit. I reap all my own rewards.
That's heartening to know.
Mm-hmm.
Al would look at Tom and Patrick to see if they have any looks of changing opinion.
Tom's just going to take out Mila's card and give it to Al.
Patrick is actually taking observations and just around the room, looking at people and objects and things like that.
Okay. Fortune gives a smile and says, so because of the professionalism of my outfit, and because we're incurring our own costs and risk, there's obviously a charge. I don't just take your money and then give it back to you, interest-free, right? We charge a small fee, obviously, 2% for every transaction. 2% of the money that's brought in that we store, we take 2% of whatever that is. Now, unlike everyone else around here, that 2% not only guarantees your money's safety, but it guarantees that you get it from me directly. No futzing around, no going through 2 or 3 or 4 different people. You get it from me, and you get every single scrap of ice.
So 2% when we deposit it, is there any
Yep.
sort of fee or limit to withdrawals?
No limit, but it's a 2% withdrawal as well. Any transaction, we take 2% out of.
2% of the transaction, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So, guys, if we were to deposit it and then withdraw it all, we're still looking at losing 4,000.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little different, but pretty close to that.
Pretty
yes.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I suppose I'm fine with. That hurts, but,
Well, it's going to be safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully.
Exactly. I'm okay with this. We'll just have to be really careful if we make a withdrawal that we make what we need. Okay. Al would nod and say, okay, we'd like to set up an account.
Great. He says, fantastic. So, I don't have a lot of, digital signatures or anything that we take. A part of my business, why a lot of people like to go to me, is that other than the 2% fee, I don't fart around with any sort of particulars. I'm not going to run a background check or anything, okay? What I'm going to give you is this black little card, all right? This is your ticket to my money. Now, if you lose it, no big deal. I'll know your face. I got a record of your names, and I'll issue you a new one. Of course, there's a fee to that, but don't worry about it. It's just this black little card. This is your ticket. This is you who say you are, right? And say perhaps you have a friend that you owe a lot of money to or whatever. You can give him the card instead, and I can give him that money. I can transfer the money to him, all right? It's pretty handy. He hands it over to you. Mm-hmm.
Al takes it and looks at it. So theoretically, if this were stolen from me, they could come here and withdraw my money.
Unless they knew your name and the passphrase that you're going to tell me, they're pretty shit out of luck.
I see. Fair enough.
So, exactly. All I need from you is a name, whatever name. It doesn't have to be your actual name, right? A lot of my clients use second, third, fourth names, right? And a passphrase, all right? That only you and I are going to know.
All right. And now, are we writing this down, or are we just telling him?
Oh, you better fucking write this down.
No. I mean, like the actual. Are we writing this down for him?
No. There's no paper here.
Okay.
So
got it.
what he has is he has his own. He has a small personal computer that he's going to be storing this information on.
Okay.
It's relatively large, but very, very thin.
All right. Al would give him.
Laptop-esque.
Al would give him the name Castle.
Mhm.
Okay.
Can we? I have an idea for the passphrase.
Mm-hmm.
Endless storytellers.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how much you gonna transfer over? How much ice are we gonna hold on for you?
100,000.
100,000. Excellent. So he'll take out 2,000. So your account with him is actually going to have 998,000.
Right.
Right?
Just 98,000.
Yeah.
Wait, did I say 998,000? Yeah, no, you don't have a million.
I love doing business with
No,
this guy.
I'll take that interest.
Nope,
No,
shut the fuck up.
So 98,000 in the account.
This guy does not have a clause for for me misspeaking. All right, there's no god derp clause in the contract. There's no contract. All right. He says, "Fantastic doing business with you. Simple, sweet. Isn't this nice? We have a 5-minute conversation. Your money is safe, and you have a new friend." He's a
Indeed.
pearly smile.
And when can we find you around here? Obviously, I imagine you don't sit here.
I
24/7.
live here, except from the times between 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock, standard time, where I like to sleep. And sometimes from time to time, I take little breaks. You understand?
Right.
No, have a little bit of fun. For the most part, this booth here, it's my booth. And if for whatever reason I'm sick or indisposed, you'll find someone else here at this booth, and you can trust them. Ain't nobody sits in this booth but me and my own associates.
All right.
I got a lifetime contract with this place, he says, as he stuffs his face with a strange green round object, and he munches on it.
Fair enough. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Hey, Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
What is this guy's name again?
Rev Fontana, but his nickname is Fortune.
No, and just so we're clear, not 4chan, just Fortune.
Fortune.
Fortune as in having a lot of fucking money,
Right.
Slee.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Do you see a bunch of cat pictures and child pornography around him? No, and it's not 4chan.
You might have just left it out of the description. I wanted to be sure. All right. So, guys, next stop, I guess, would be...
If you want to unload all the rest of our cash,
Yeah,
we can
the
just go to
orphanage.
Tiny Little Stars.
Stop by the orphanage. Real
Orphanage.
quick. Yeah.
Okay. So you head over. Siren, once again, heads you over towards Tiny Little Stars. Patrick, I'd like you to roll me a D100, please.
Okay.
Okay. On your way towards Tiny Little Stars, you go down one passageway, and you're about to turn left, but you hear a siren give a perturbed and surprised, as it appears a doorway, or at least an entryway into a hallway, seems to be sealed shut. A large blast door has been closed, and the center in the gap seems to have been welded shut. And Siren kind of gives it a tap and he goes, "Oh, they must have closed this for some reason. That's okay. I know another way," he says. "I know another way around. And with your permission, he'll start leading you a slightly different path towards the same direction."
Yeah, Al would start looking around more and kind of keeping his hands on his belt, but
Okay. With the exception of a few passers-by, none of whom bump into you. A lot of them have their own hands in their own pockets. Nothing curious of note hits. Okay. As Siren starts taking down a right turn this time. And he stops right at the entranceway with you guys behind him. And down the hallway, you can see about 2 individuals, and they're leaning up against the wall, and they start looking your direction. They both seem to be human, both of them male, kind of thin. And Siren goes, oh, and he starts to turn back the way he came, kind of ushering you to go, "Oh, no, we'll go back. And you hear down the hallway, "Hold up there. Siren, is that you?" And you see Siren give a bit of a curse. He goes, "Shit." He goes, "Needlers. Just don't worry about this. I'll try to talk us out of it." And then Siren kind of gives a smile. He goes, Hey. And you can see these 2 individuals. Now they're getting a little bit closer. They're about 40 feet as they walk towards you. And you can see on the collar of one hangs a needle, a syringe, and through the shirt of another, you can see the needle point of the syringe sticking out of the other gentleman. He goes, Siren. We were hoping we'd run into you." And Siren goes, "Oh, yeah? Why, you need a guide? I'm kind of busy right now." And they go, No. We sealed off a few passageways because the boss is tired of you sliding people past our checkpoint. So here you are. Don't bother going any further north. We sealed off the last 3 passages as well. Just come on through here. Just pay your toll per person, and you'll be fine, okay? We're not upset. You're clever, but we're just a little smarter than you, Siren. So, these guys that you got here," and they take a look at you stern, "you want to use our tunnel? You're going to pay us 50 ice each."
Fantastic.
Out of character, I don't think we should be rocking the boat.
Yeah.
I would like to turn my back on them and transfer credits from my stick to Mila's stick.
Roll me D100, please. What's your concealment?
I don't have concealment.
Ah, okay. What are you doing? Face towards us, you hear the one on the left say.
All right. What was I able to transfer?
No, you were not. You failed your check. Your unskilled check.
All right.
You can continue to do it and ignore their wishes, or you cannot do it and face towards them.
Let's see. Am I in view of what Tom's doing?
Up to you. This is very loose-based as far as positioning goes. I'm not going to be draconian about it.
Alright, I'm going to say that he's on my side. I'm going to look over, see what he's doing. And Patrick is going to murmur something under his breath, casting a spell.
What spell?
Time slip.
Okay. Can you please
Elaborate what that is?
Yes, please.
Okay. Time slip allows me to stop time For 7 seconds, do any sort of non-lethal action within that 7 seconds, and then the rest of the time will speed up with me. Basically allowing to skip 7 seconds of time and do a thing.
Okay. So in your 7 seconds of time, what would you like to do?
Basically, take the cards, transfer, and move back.
How much are you transferring?
I'm
How much
going
is Patrick transferring between the two cards?
I am going to be transferring from the big one, all but 1,000.
Okay. Please make a note of that, whoever's keeping track of the money. Okay. And you're able to do so in just the nick of time and put the cards back into Tom's hand.
Then I'll turn around.
You don't know what happens. So.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
So what is your decision? You don't know what happened, so what's your decision? Do you not transfer the money and ignore and turn around, or do you transfer the money and ignore them? So ironically, it's still the same question because we can't use metagame knowledge.
I know. But it would probably be a bad idea to start a scuffle, right?
It's up to you to decide that. I can't tell you.
GM, tell us. No.
No.
I'll stop transferring.
Okay. No. Okay. Great.
And turn around.
All right. There we go. That's right. Let's see your beautiful faces. The one on the right says, and as you can see now in the dim light, them getting about 30 feet away from you now, you can see that they're both pretty badly mutated as well. One has a third eye that's right above their rightmost eye, and the other one has probably just a small stubby hand growing out of their stomach that is not even being concealed by the tattered shirt that he wears. And he goes, okay, take out your cards. One at a time. No funny business. We'll get this over with, okay? You too, Siren.
I'm going to say, would you like to take care of this? Turning to Tom.
No. No, I would not. No.
The only thing you're taking care of, interrupts the one on the left, is your ice going onto our cards. So no more talking. Okay? Time for talking's over. It's toll time. You, the one with the fucked up ears, come here first.
Al would oh boy. Al would start walking towards them.
Great. One on the left takes out an orange plastic card, while the one on the right keeps an eye right on you, shifting between you to Siren, to Patrick and Tom. But he's looking at you, darting quick, right? He doesn't take his eyes off you for more than a second before they're back on you. All right, take out your card, says the one on the left. Jesus Christ, is this the first time you guys ever been through a fucking toll? Siren, where do you find these fuckers? He says, and Siren kind of just gives a bit of a shrug.
Patrick is going to kind of... He's going to look a little nervous, just kind of like let out a sigh, and then try to grab for Tom's card.
Roll me a D100, please.
All right.
The one on the right notices the quick movement, and you see him point a finger towards you, and a small jolt of electricity escapes from the tip of his finger towards your feet. Actually, wait, he might miss and hit you. Give me 1 second. No, he hits at your feet. He goes, hey, No sudden fucking movements. You two separate right now. Jeez. Christ.
Al would say, well, it's just Patrick. I'm sure he had a good reason.
I
Patrick,
don't care what he is. Separate, get in the line, transfer your credits, and stop talking.
I was trying to get you your credits.
I don't care.
Oh.
You got a card in your hand, that's all I care about. Separate. And you can notice now that these guys are getting a little bit edgy. So, Al, card, they gesture for your card.
Al's going to say, actually, so I understand. They connect the cards, but is it possible for them to do it while I still have my hand on my card?
Of course, that's
okay.
how you connect the cards. You have your hand on one card. He has a hand
Just
on
making
his card.
sure. Al would say, take 200 credits from this for everyone's toll.
Roll me D100, please.
All right.
Yeah, the one on the left goes on to the one on the right and goes, yeah. I'll get over quick enough, okay? Don't like these guys. Jesus, want them to be on their way. Everyone goes, don't worry about it. And they comply, and the cards connect. Do you transfer 200 over?
Yes.
He accepts 200 ice as removed from one card to another. And the guy on the left there who was doing the transaction gives a wiry smile. And they step over to one side, and they say, okay, passageway is clear. Thanks for your business. They chime out, and they give a bit of a laugh. Patrick, whenever you pass by the one on the right, you see another jolt of electricity escape, and once again hits your feet, and you hear him give a bit of a smirk and a laugh. Hits by your feet, not on your feet.
He's going to, of course, be frightened by this both times.
Okay.
And give a small, of course, gesture to make sure that he's not near where he's hitting.
Okay.
Okay. That's
All
about
right. All right, no problem. Everyone else passes by these guys uneventfully. Anything you want to say or do? Siren is just kind of giving a very embarrassed look to you guys, like he seriously fucked up. But he doesn't say anything.
No, just wander right by.
Okay. Once you clear these guys, a good 100 feet away, around from their braying laughter and their insulting calls, Siren will say, "Geez, I'm sorry. I didn't see it coming. I try to avoid these guys as much as possible, but that's kind of how things work around here."
It's fine. From what they said, there wasn't much you could have done to avoid them.
Yeah, that's true. They kind of caught me with my pants down, so to speak. Well, all right, let's get you back to the Bright Little Stars refuge, okay? Do that. He starts weaving you through the hallways. It still takes about another 20 minutes or so. But thankfully, no other major events. The power doesn't come out. There's no zero G gravity. You managed to make it back to the placard. However, the door is currently blocked by 3 individuals. 2 of them seem to be dragging one of them out from the inside of the refuge to the outside of the refuge. I'm going to just explain the scene in a little bit more detail, and then you guys can decide how you want to act or whatever, okay? The 2 individuals pulling the third, they are in tattered, like dark green clothes, right? But their tops are almost they almost look like business type jackets, right? Except they're really mangy and tattered, and they have patches all over them. and they're dragging out a stunted individual. His legs are fully formed, but they seem to be covered in tumors, as does his arms. These two other individuals, the green jacketed individuals, are dragging them out, have hooked their arms into his own, and are dragging him out. They don't seem to be punching him or attacking him, but by the kicking and screaming of this individual, who brays out, "No, no, please, I don't know anything. Leave me alone, please. I just want to get better." He clearly does not want to leave, but they are right now successfully hauling him from the inside of Bright Little Stars to the outside. I would like everyone to roll me a D100, please. Ooh. Oh, Al's gone, so he doesn't get to roll. Patrick, you notice on the cuff of the lapel of one of the guys a quick glint of copper, and you're pretty sure it's in the shape of a rat. Now I'll throw it to you whether you guys want to act or not. If you choose not to act, I'll just continue describing the scene.
I will choose not to act.
Piff?
I am not going to act at the moment.
So I guess here's the big question. Hello, Squee. What's the last thing that you heard? Because I might have to just repeat myself now.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't realize you left until I was halfway done describing the scene.
Wait. Oh, okay. Last thing I heard is getting to the star.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't go into every bit of detail as I did before. I'll just give you the Coles notes. Mm-hmm. Right at the Bright Little Stars, it seems like two individuals in these green jackets. One of them, Patrick noticed, had a copper rat on his lapel. Roll me D100, please.
Sure.
You do not notice that, so only Patrick has the knowledge of the copper rat on the lapel. But two individuals seem to be dragging out a third person. The man is covered in tumors in his legs and his arms, and although they're dragging him by the arms, and although they are not beating him, it is clear by his cowls of, "No, please, I don't know anything. Please, I just want to get better." He doesn't want to go with these men, but they seem to be overpowering him and dragging him outside the establishment.
Logan does not like that.
I know.
Okay. Al would probably look to Simon and say, "Do you know what's going on?"
Siren kind of shakes his head, and he goes, "No, no, no." And you can see him, he takes a couple steps back, not getting involved.
And both Patrick and I aren't getting involved either.
Oh, gosh. Al just doesn't know enough about anything that's going on to...
Mm-hmm.
Al's not getting involved simply because he just doesn't know enough to make a judgment.
Okay. Sure, no problem. I'll resolve the rest of the scene. Despite his protestations, the men in the green jackets, the green tattered business type jackets, drag him out and actually past you guys, back down one of the passageways, and they soon go around the corner. The man, the tumor-covered man, you can see now his face, the tumors have hit his nose and a section of his neck as well, is continuing to mule, is like, "I don't know anything. I don't know where he stored that scrap. Please, please, I'm just a sick man." And soon his calls and his cries get quieter and quieter as he's hauled away.
Oh, Al's having trouble. But the simple truth is, yeah, he can't make a choice without more information of what's even going on. So,
Okay, that's fine.
um,
You get back.
yeah, no, good, keep going.
Well, you enter when you enter Bright Little Stars. You do see Vadpo there, kind of by at the desk area. But you can definitely get a very, very tense and scared vibe from the other mutated individuals, the dozen of them or so that are kind of clinging around the sides of this entrance foyer. And you can see, even though her eyes are very foreign and alien, those little slits that make up her optic nerves, Vadpo, her kind of frown and her wrinkled, the wrinkled size of her mouth shows that she is a little bit on the distressed side, but she notices you. All three of you enter. He goes, and she says, well, welcome back. We have your friends were helping us getting together your room there."
Do you know what that was all about?
Vadpo gives a bit of a sigh, and she says, "It's just business as usual, I suppose." She pauses for a moment, and then she says, This is a refuge. This is meant to help people, feed people who can't help themselves. Most of the baseless groups, these gangs, for all they are, they typically treat this as neutral ground, right? No one owns us, no one runs us, but we don't have the security to prevent, well, things like that happening. Sometimes gang members come in, and if they're interested in someone, they take them out. There's nothing they can do. Thankfully, it's been a few years since anyone's been killed in here, but most times they just take them out, and sometimes the poor souls come back, and sometimes they don't.
I don't
It's
suppose.
awful, just awful.
I don't suppose you know the guy they took, if they had a cause to take him or not.
No, they didn't say anything. Those copper rats came in. They roughed him up. They asked him about something. They spewed a few names. He sputtered, and they said they'll talk somewhere else. And then they dragged him out. He was screaming the entire time, very distressed. It's awful. I wanted to help him. I wanted to stop them, but look at me, she says.
Would it bring trouble on your orphanage if you tried to do something like that?
She says, I don't know if it's trouble. Listen. There's only one real rule here in Outcast Station, and that is might makes right. And here, I help the weak and the helpless. Typically, they're ignored. But if anyone is supposed to protect them, we would need might. That's all that they respect, but that's not what we're about. We don't have the funds for security, and we don't have the connections of powerful people. So we just have to tolerate these scavengers, these cruel, cruel men and women. And we just hope that maybe we're ignored, and if we can help one soul, then it's worth all of this.
Right. Well, anyway, Patrick, I think you had something you needed to do.
Is there a restroom? A place to go to the bathroom?
Yes, we do. We have one here. I can show the rest of you to the little area that we've had cleared out for you, if you like. You're lucky. It has 3 walls, so you'll have some modicum of privacy. Although I'm afraid it will be a little cramped, but it's the best that we can do with the space that we have.
That's more than okay.
And she brings you back out of the lobby towards the back room. The place is sectioned off. You go down a very, very thin, narrow hallway, and there's a collection of rooms, these small cells on either side of you, both to the left and right. And it's rows and rows of these cells that are approximately... No, they vary in size. Some of them are 20 feet around. Some of them are narrow, 10 feet by 20 feet, right? Most of them all have some common features. Most of them are occupied. They all smell of filth and sweat. They are not well furnished whatsoever. And from time to time, slightly more hygienic looking care workers flit from cell to cell, but there's only a handful of them, 2 or 3 that you notice, right? You finally, down the center of this hallway, though, there's a small, tiny closet-sized room in which Vadpo gestures, and she says, well, these are our facilities for you to make use of. We'll be down, and she points down the hallway. We'll be the 3rd room on the left at the very end. You can meet with us there, if that's all right.
Yes.
To Patrick.
Oh yeah.
No, she's talking to Patrick because he needs to use the facilities.
That should be good.
Good. And she takes Al and Tom further down the hallway. A few moments later, she gets you all set up in the room. Patrick, I'm going to just set up the room here first, and then I'll shift to you and ask you what you're doing. Sounds good?
Sure.
Okay. So the room is a little bit larger. Thankfully, it's a whole 30 feet by 30 feet, which is a suite-like in this establishment. Although you can see Alicia, Bear, August, Mila, and Hannibal already in the room. Also, it seems that 2 children are also in the room as well. One looks to be around 6. The other one looks to be around 8. One's a boy, one's a girl. The 8-year-old's the girl, the 6-year-old's the boy. Both of them, unfortunately, also show some signs of severe mutation. The girl is completely bald, and she has a strange bony outcropping coming from the center of her skull, while the boy, unfortunately, seems to have absolutely no feet whatsoever, and instead of his the ends of his feet by the ankles come out in almost like a point, like dagger points, pretty much, right? So he typically doesn't walk on them. But they're both of them actually laughing and playing with Hannibal, the puppy. They're petting him, and they're asking Mila all sorts of questions about them, and she's doing her best to give creative responses, right? Trying to do a few tricks for them, all right? August looks incensed. If his frown could get any deeper, he would be swallowed in upon himself, and his face is like that of someone who's constantly smelling something sour. All right. Alicia and Bear are both doing their best of getting things settled up. They're finding a corner of the room for them to set up some of their personal items. You can see 7 soiled mattresses lining one edge of the wall itself, and a crumpled metal cabinet as far as storage goes. The room looks like it's been cleaned in a way. There are no puddles of any sort of refuse or anything like that, although there are clear stains on both the walls and the floors to show that some sort of spillage or waste has been collected here and created an old stain. Okay. Is there anything you guys would like to do just off the get-go before I switch to Patrick?
Kind of do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Al would, take a look around, of course. He'd probably ask to make sure everything's going okay. Probably ask Alicia and Bear.
Mm-hmm. Alicia and Bear. Alicia gives Bear gives just a patient nod. Alicia gives a response, and she says, "Well, we're making do with what we got. If You think this is as safe as anything else. And then August interrupts. He says, making do? Making do? I didn't survive the perilous journey to get up here to live in a filth hole.
Al looks at him blankly and says, "It appears you did."
No, I did not. If there are other establishments here in which one can find rest, I highly suggest we take one. How much money did we get? He asks.
Al looks at him. Enough.
Good. Enough to go to someplace else, yes?
No.
Why not? He asks.
Al would look at the others. Does anyone else have a problem staying here?
Alicia says, we're going to be honest here?
Honest as you can be, sure.
She says, this isn't very comfortable, Al. I'm not going to lie to you.
Al nods, looks at Bear.
Bear shakes his head, and he simply says, I have been worse places. It is good to hear laughter. And he looks over to the kids.
All right. Tom?
I'm not leaving Hannibal. This is the safest place for him.
Agreed. We might find better comfort, but we're not going to find better safety.
Give me a moment, because we've been ignoring Patrick quite a bit.
Yeah.
I
by all
think
means.
during this time he might have
Yeah.
resolved his stuff and come into the room at that time. We'll double check. Can we just pause the scene real quick?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine.
Flip over to Patrick. Okay. So Patrick, this have you been to a really bad porta potty in your life, Patrick? I mean, Piff.
Yes.
Yeah, think that. That's all I'm going to say about it.
All right.
What would you like to do?
Make sure that he can lock or have something wedged so the door doesn't open.
There is a weak lock on the inside, although one good kick could probably bring it in. But it prevents the door from opening.
Yeah. I'll make sure that I have the lock there. I'd be really surprised if somebody tried to
Come in at the same time over this short period of time. If it's any consolation, as you were entering there, it didn't look like anyone was moving towards the facilities.
All right. So he'll use that, and then in Draconic, I believe that it was homeward was the word.
Yeah. You're in a much better place right now. No smells, just wonderful golden light surrounding you in the face of a nice, comfortable hearth and home.
Now, in I should probably describe this. I was going to do it for anybody else who came in here, but in here are basically almost a small array of small stacks of items, and some areas have actually kind of spread out and completely almost like a showcase of what it is. His hunting rifle, shotgun, and his laser rifle are all stacked on top of a table in a nice, neat line.
Okay. That's how Patrick of you.
But everything else seems a bit disheveled, kind of put into corners and areas and things like that. But he's going to take his card, and he's going to... Are there drawers in here?
Of course, yeah.
All right. He's going to put it in the let's go with the second to bottom drawer, somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's more than one drawer. Anyway, he's going to do this relatively quickly because he doesn't want people to go into the bathroom when he comes back in. So he's in a slight rush, and he'll come back through the door in a relative good time and pop back into the not so smelling nice room.
Gotcha. All right. Excellent. So just for the record, how much are you storing in the? I'm sure you're keeping track of it in the risk group loot, but how much are you storing in this place? Mm-hmm.
I only have one card and didn't get contact with the other one, so
sorry.
100,000.
Can we say that?
Because you travel quite a bit after that encounter to the Bright Little Stars Refuge. Mm-hmm. So you can we can easily rationalize that. You'd be like, oh, sorry, it was getting kind of hairy back here. This is what I wanted to do, right? Not a problem. So how much would you like to actually store? Like, I'm asking you guys as a group, how much would you have liked Patrick to store in this place?
I think we were just going to keep 60,000 on us, and we gave 100,000 to Fortune, so everything else.
Yeah, so 239,000.
Okay. Great.
So.
And then we'd put 15,000 on each person's card.
Beautiful. Fantastic.
In golden place, then.
Oh yeah, 20,000. Yeah.
Great. So, after that, Patrick, I'm assuming you make your way to the room, to the common living room, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. So I probably need some directions.
Well, she did tell you it was the third room at the end on the left.
All right. He'll gingerly go up the staircase and make sure that he's going the right way. Look into the third room.
Okay. Well, you see familiar faces. In fact, you seem to be in the middle of an argument between Al and August. And what a perfect time to continue this scene. So August gives a frustrated little stamp of his foot, and he says, you can be happy here, but it doesn't mean I have to be happy here. All I want is to be, you guys can stay here. I don't care. Just at least get me set up in someplace a little bit more appropriate. Well, is that so much to ask? What's my share of all this?
Sure. What you're going to do is you're going to venture out and find a place to live, and then find a way back here without, any ice, and then give us a quote on how much it will be to set you up, if you want to do that.
He goes, no, that's unacceptable. Why don't you give me... It is. Why do you get to carry all this money? Who made you lords of this? You said
your
when
contract,
I signed that contract, my contract says you would set me up with you as a group. Now, do you think it is completely unfair for me to be completely 100% dependent on you and your whims? Is that how you run your operation?
Okay. A fair enough point. However, if all of us are staying here and you want to stay somewhere else, you do realize that you're going to have to be able to survive on your own to get to and from us on this station. The station in which we've only been here 2 hours and we've already been checking down for 200 credits.
Huh. No, that was around 1,000 credits total. I think. Around there.
What?
That's including all the extra fees and, paying the person to guide us because we don't know where to go and all of that.
I was more concerned with August. How would you do if a couple of armed men come up to you and ask you to pay a toll without any one of us there to help you?
Pay the toll, he says defensively. Sorry, as I laugh because I'm imagining his face right now, which is very much different from what it was right previously. He goes, We would just have to set up a line of communication.
How?
He gestures to the radio that he brought up with him. Well, these still work, wouldn't they?
We can't.
I don't know
use
the range
those.
of them on here. Why not?
They're
No one
not
said
from
anything.
here, August. You pull that out in front
Oh,
of
but we-
anyone else, and you risk getting ratted out and in big trouble.
He stamps his foot a little bit more, and he goes, well, then we'll purchase ones that blend in with the environment. Well, we need communication anyway, don't we?
Al sighs and he says, "Look, he talked to like Tom and Patrick. He's got a point. I don't feel like being a monster here, but again, on the other hand, if you want to go live somewhere else, we can't hold your hand either."
He says, I don't... There has to be an establishment nearby here somewhere, he says, oblivious to everything. There's some place that's better than this hole. This is a hovel, he says. You smell that?
Al shrugs. Al would look to the orphanage owner and say, "Is there accommodations nearby here?"
She kind of tilts her head a little bit, and she says, well, the closest inn would be, as Inferno scrolls down, there we go, the Troposphere Hotel. It's still about 10 minutes away if all the passages are clear.
Which, of course, they won't be.
Yeah, a lot of the passageways were welded shut.
Look, August, I get what you're saying. I really do.
Good.
We have
he says snootily.
But we have to stay here. You want to go stay at a hotel that's at least 10 minutes away from any help or communication. That is your call. But understand that if you get into trouble, we will not be able to get there fast enough to save your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I do mean your life. Because the 2 hours we've been here, we've seen someone thrown out an airlock, someone dragged off by a gang for God knows what, we've been shaken down for a toll, and we've had people try and rob us. And we've been here 2 hours.
Yep. Plus, with the way that the currency works, you have to use these special cards that aren't very easy to come by.
For
and
a
we
moment,
only have 3.
For a moment, August crosses his arms, but he's silent for a second. And he says, I refuse to accept the fact that either I stay here with you or I go off on my own, he says. You're concerned about your pet there, August says, and you hear me a shh, toy. He goes, yes, your toy pet, defensively. There must be some other way to smuggle him into a room. Couldn't we just put him inside a box?
You don't seem to
Go to the
understand the
hotel?
situation, August. If the wrong people see our toy, we are all dead.
Who are the wrong people? Anyone here could be the wrong people.
Yes, now
August
you're starting
says.
to understand.
So if we're going to take a risk here in a shit box or take a risk in a place with a mattress that isn't brimming with lice, then guess what? I think I'll take the risk with a mattress that isn't brimming with lice.
You're not understanding. The risk here is much smaller than anywhere else.
How? You don't know what the risk is. You're just
Everyone
afraid
we've
of
talked to has said so.
everybody.
And the simple fact that Hannibal is here and we haven't been killed yet should be a good indication.
August uses his last card and goes, Alicia. Alicia will come with me. She's strong. She can handle herself. Her and I. She doesn't like this place either. Her and I will go someplace else. We'll go to the Troposphere. We'll get all set up.
Al would look at Alicia and shrug and say, I mean, I meant what I said. I mean, we're not a prison, and you're as independent as any of the rest of us.
Yep. If you really want to go, get us a quote. Like I said before, try and find a way to get us an extra card. Then
August says,
we'll
why
try
can't
and
you
figure
do
something
these
out.
things? Why can't you come with me right now and we get a quote all together?
Because we have to go get
You
protection.
said it was dangerous out there. Don't you
Yes.
care about me?
Of course we care about you.
Well,
We have to think of everyone in the group. We need to go get protection and weapons. And we can't do that if we're going to try and get you a better living space.
August says, I can wait here for a few more hours. I'm not completely unreasonable. I don't have to leave this very second. As long as I don't have to sleep on one of these things, I'm fine. I'll wait here. I'll wait for you to get armed and armored and all teched out or whatever you do. Maybe get me a gun as well. He goes, I can fire a pistol, fine enough. Maybe some protection too, some armor plating if it's as dangerous as you say it is. And I believe it. You give me, I'll wait here, or I'll go with you to this place, whatever. We'll get ourselves all armored up, and then we'll continue our next task.
Al will close his eyes and kind of pinch the bridge of his nose and sigh a little bit and say, Alicia, do you want to go somewhere else as well? I mean, would you be willing to enough to look after August?
She says, are we still being honest here?
Yes,
Says-
be honest.
As long as I don't have, if it shuts him up and makes him happier, it's fine by me.
Al will nod.
Frankly, I wouldn't mind a better place around, and this seems the best solution, unless we can come up with another one.
Al will
But
nod.
I would like to come with you to get some new weaponry too. If you say this stuff is going to out us as some sort of outsiders, as Johanna mentioned, then we should gear up.
Al nods. He says, I was going to suggest that. Bear 2, you should come along. And
Bear nods.
he'll turn to August and say, okay, so here's the deal. We'll go get all of us protection. We'll find a place for you and Alicia to crash. But Alicia holds on to the money. Fair enough.
Why? He asks.
Because
Am I not an adult? Can I not hold money?
August, with all due respect, I've seen what happens when someone points a gun at you.
I need at least a little bit. What if we're separated?
Then that'll be up to Alicia. I trust her. I trust you too. And he looks to Alicia. Obviously, you can use your common sense.
Great, she says.
Al gives her an apologetic shrug.
Uh-huh.
But I think
All right.
first things first, we should all go find some sort of protection.
Mhm.
And then he
Agreed.
pauses. August, do you even know how to use a gun?
Yes, he says, I lived as a mercenary.
Okay. Then we'll go find you a gun and some
Good.
protection.
Good.
And then Al would turn to, I'm sorry, I gotta write her name down. The orphanage.
Badpo.
Badpo.
Vadpo.
Is it with a V or a B?
V.
V.
As in
Badpo.
Victor.
Got it.
Is very virile.
Al would turn to her and say, I'm sorry about all that. We mean no insult to your establishment, of course.
She raises her hand. She shakes her head. I understand perfectly. I warned you that this was no actual hotel, so I should not be surprised when such reactions happen.
Can you do me a favor?
Why you still want to stay here baffles me, but I'll not argue.
Al nods. Not only that, but we'll have to figure out some sort of fair payment to let us stay here. Can you do me a favor?
Perhaps.
I'm no doctor, but I know a lot about medicine and healing. When I get back tonight, or while I'm gone, we have to take care of a few things, but I'd like to take a look at some of the people who might need help, if you don't mind. If you could maybe figure out who's in most dire need of attention.
People are here because they are in dire need. If you want to offer assistance and you have medical knowledge, then we will accept it. We'll deal with that when the time comes, when you have returned.
Okay, fair enough. And then Al will be like, okay, let's go shopping.